Let's have a look at this demo. Think about it like MariaDB Cloud Vector Search and MCP augmentation results in a win. How does it do that? So think about core data that customers have. Their internal databases, wikis, products, whatever internal information the customer has. You see a lot these days about customer internal data reusage for something better. So this product basically provides that opportunity, but it even extends on that with MCP search augmentation. And so these results can be external provided. And MCP doesn't need to be one MCP instance, one MCP server. It can be multiple. So very simple demo. So here we got I used a data set that is called 20 news groups, and basically it has a lot of news groups, posts, and so on, as a source for internal data. And we're going to process that using an LLM, and that LLM requires a 384 dimension vector. And so this is MariaDB running on MariaDB Cloud. We're in the news group database where we've created this table with our vector embeddings, basically the information, the link between the actual textual data and the LLM or the search engine that's going to be searching through your vectors and finding the most relevant documents. We're going to be indexing that, great feature to have within MariaDB, and we're going to have a cosine distance. So distance, you can think a little bit about like search results, right? If you search for something in Google or in Bing, then your first result is going to be probably more or less the most relevant. However, in this case, we're not just searching with keywords, we're searching with vectors. So in this table, we've got about 17,800. Some really important benefits. You can ask anything and get better answers. So vector search is smarter than just a keyword search, right? Even within a small shell script, you can search for keywords. However, vector search understands intent. So when you are going to define your search query, vector search results are going to look better than just keyword-based results. We're going to combine the internal and the external, combining your internal data with live rep results, resulting in better and richer answers. And it's faster than a scale. So MariaDB Cloud, as you all know, delivers scalable low latency search as the data groups. It's built for many use cases: news, products, documentation, research, and so on. Using MariaDB Cloud with vector search, you're going to really cut down on that stack that is required. Think about all the services that would be needed. For example, just with products, how many services would be needed external? Now you're only going to have to add on your MCP instances. Okay, so very quickly, we're going to see here that we can connect to MariaDB Cloud and the news group database. And there's our table and basically our vector. And let's run a demo. So in this demo, we're going to be using a preset keyword or search term that we're going to search for. And we're going to be using the sentence transformer model. A little bit more on that soon. So let's just scroll up a little bit. First of all, our search term is AI technology. And we're going to be searching through that 20 news groups. So if you remember here, we got those 18,000 or whatever records. But again, this could be just products or anything. Basically, we're searching through it, right? That's the main. We're going to be searching through it. So we're connecting to MariaDB Cloud. It's going to search, and then we're going to find some internal documents, right? In this particular case, it's looked through that 20 news groups database and found some, interesting results that are all going to be more or less, depending on their distance, related to computer science, artificial intelligence, and so on, because that's what we're looking for. AI technology gives us a distance. So this is the cosine distance factors that we're using here. It gives us the results and a short summary and what particular category it's found that information. Then we're going to use MCP. And so for this, we're spinning up a local MCP server. Fast MCP is being used. And we basically use the Brave search engine to augment those results for the search term AI technology. So if you think about this in products, so for example, this could be your internal stock, right? It results in 5 most relevant products, and then it will add 3 additional products, another MCP server that is, for example, Amazon affiliate links. Meaning, if you sell your internal products, great, but if you don't sell them, still great, because you're still going to be making some money as a seller. Okay, so basically that's the demo. So we have our external results and our internal results. And of course, this in textual format, but you can think about how this could be straight flow into a website format where you have these basically combined without the information in between about what's actually happening in the background. And again, that could be used for products, etc. as well. All the same. Okay, so very quick, a little bit more technical. So the embedding using the 20 news groups dataset, which is available with Takeout, and then it uses this particular model processes the textual information into vectors, and so it becomes searchable, resulting in these nice results. Okay, so very quickly on the schema. So we've already talked about the embedding vectors and the creation of an index, which is great that we can do this in MariaDB, creating an actual vector index. It's faster lookup, and our data is going to be loaded into MariaDB Cloud using this particular script. So basically, it's doing a load data in file of the embedded newsgroup information. This embeddings will automatically render it into a CSV file that can be directly imported. So all of this comes inside the repository already. So it's basically ready to use, ready to convert. It can be literally anything, products and so on. Then we got the Fast MCP server instance, which takes the Brave API and wraps it and makes it available via MCP. And so basically, very easy to copy this and just simply add another MCP instance, whether it be Amazon, eBay, some Google search service, or it doesn't matter. You can basically add any MCP server that you would like. And then I would like to have a quick look at program. So basically it gives some information, it puts various models, it loads the key for, in this case, Brave, and passes it onto the MCP instance. It does an internal search. You can see the actual query using fact distance cosine against MariaDB Cloud, and does the external search. And as you can see, then you could simply just combine it further. Phase 1, phase 2, and it gives. Okay, finally, setup. Very, very, very simple. You just have to install Python 3. I have to install a set of packages, and well, that's it. You can get going. There's a few scripts to init the schema, import the news groups, create the embeddings, load the data, and you're ready, and you can get going. Okay, so finally, here's the repository. So I will include that link within the documentation. And there it is, fully documented, with all of the relevant information, what you need, how you install it, how you set up the database. There's all these links to directly to MariaDB Cloud with, links to the MariaDB products page and so on. How to run it, an example of what the output is expected to be. And that's it. You can go ahead and clone it. We'll make this repository public right now. Okay, that's it. I hope that you enjoyed this demo. And yeah, let's get searching.